This episode is brought to you by
Intrinsic Design is a residential and commercial building design firm with over 20 years experience working for local architects and builders on various residential and commercial structures throughout Central Texas and beyond. Owned and operated by Michael Washam, you can reach him by phone at 254-913-5753 or by email at intrinsicdesign@gmail.com. That's NTRINSIC design@gmail.com. You can also check them out on Facebook.
They'll talk about anything and to anyone. They're straight out of the streets of Temple, Texas. It's Randomness with Heath and Josh.
All right, we're back. What's going on, Joshua? How you doing?
Excellent.
Yeah. What you been up to, man? It's been a week. We haven't talked much in the last week, actually. We usually talk, but you're pretty focused on school, so.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about school.
Yeah, I don't want you to talk about school either.
Actually, tapped out.
Tapped out. I get it. No, I get it. I know that you've been frustrated lately, so let's not talk about school. What have you been doing besides school?
The tapping out thing was I told my mentor, let me do this class at the end of the term.
Oh, you switched, so you're not even doing it right
Yeah,
now?
I'm gonna move on to the next class and just
That's probably for the best.
keep moving forward and pick that other one up later.
When's the end of your term? Is your end of the term like soon, or
So the term, they're not like some like normal semesters that you think of. Terms are 6 months, and it all depends when you start. And with Western governors, it's your term starts when whatever month you start. So you don't have to wait till January, and you don't have to wait till September. It's like whatever month you starts your term. So I'm 3 months in, and I haven't finished my first class for this term.
Nice.
So
nice, lots of things to what do you like things to do, so you're not focused on it right now.
I just this particular class. So anyway,
just kicking your butt. Okay, well, what else? You been up to?
So put it to the side, do the next ones, and I'll come back to it.
Right on.
Yeah.
But what? Okay, so what have you been up to besides that? Come on, I asked you like 3 times.
So by the time you hear this episode, they'll be back to Earth.
The rocket launch.
Yeah, Artemis mission, man, that's like exciting. I've been to the NASA at Houston. I've been to Kennedy Space Center. I love space flight, astronauts, space missions and stuff. So this is cool. This is a cool time in history and
in history. Yeah. Do you? Okay, so the question is, so they're just going. Well, they're going around they're just going. I say that like it's nothing, but they're going around the moon,
they're just
right?
going around the moon.
They're slingshotting around the moon. It's like a 10-day thing or whatever, but they're not landing on the moon. I'm assuming they're probably getting data so that they can later or whatnot.
Sure.
But the whole thing right now is the conspiracy is really out more than ever. Is did they actually ever land on the moon in 1972 or whatever it was?
We got into that at work today. So one of my coworkers is like, "Oh, Hollywood basement kind of thing going on." So there was like several missions that took place on the moon. There's footage of it.
Right.
Who
had the camera?
I asked him, I'm like, what is it going to take? Well, you set it up and then you film yourself doing stuff, right? People do that.
So then his first step really wasn't his first step that they showed, because he had to go show it on the camera, right?
You don't have to step on the moon to set up the camera, though. Or maybe the camera was already set up.
Here we go.
But anyway, I was like, what is it going to take for you to believe that they were on the moon? And I was like, do you actually have to go there yourself? And he's like, that's probably what it would take.
Well, yeah, well, maybe that'll happen at some point. How old is that guy? Anyway,
he's in his late 30s, but
you might be able to get there one day. You never know.
So we were asking AI. I was like, well, are they going to build a museum around all that stuff? And like, no one owns the moon, I guess, and you can't build a museum. So, but it is a cultural site. So, at some point, hopefully in our lifetime, we'll get to fly up there and maybe take a little shuttle trip across the moon and actually look at all that stuff. So,
How long you think the TSA line is to go to the moon?
it's probably short.
And
who can afford that, right?
A horrible attempt at a joke about the TSA
No.
right now.
Right,
no, that was on me.
Austin, you're gonna be out in the street.
Yeah, I just real quick, I will say, so for pretty much my whole life, I thought they were on the moon. Like, I really thought that they did it. But the more I think about it now, I'm not so sure.
What, dude?
I'm not so sure.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
were we just trying to make a point to the Soviets? We're just like,
yeah.
You think?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I really don't give a shit.
If it was one mission, I could say, oh well, maybe they faked it. But they went on like a few missions where they were actually walking.
I can fake things a few times too if I want to. You know?
Oh my gosh.
No,
so the other thing we asked AI is like, can you look at it, get it like a telescope and look at the landing site? And there's nothing that's on Earth that's powerful enough to zoom in. So the next best thing is like the orbital type crafts that go around the moon and takes pictures. Well, then it's like, well, those were faked. So
yeah.
Everything is like, especially now with AI, everything can be faked. So
right.
It's really going to take people actually going back to the moon.
Yeah.
And
I'm just being controversial just to be controversial, but at the same time, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm 100% sure that they actually did it, you know? But at the same time,
I'm for they went to the moon.
Yeah, well then, so here's the part that, you know, I struggle with too. It's like, if they didn't, how in the heck did all these people keep it a secret? You know what I mean? It would have come out if it really wasn't, you know? So there's all those factors. But anyway, I don't know. I guess we'll find out eventually. I'm surprised Trump hasn't put out something saying, hey, they did or they didn't. Here it is. But I don't want to talk about Trump.
He would say they did, because America is
the best. Of course.
We're the best.
Yeah. Orange is always positive, right? Anyway.
So
real quick,
I'm
go ahead.
looking forward to it. Godspeed. May they have a good mission and it come back to Earth safely.
For sure, yeah.
Because this is the beginning of the next step. You know, eventually they're going to put humans back on the moon. So
yeah,
for real.
I heard the one guy was going and he's like looking for the first Starbucks place to put. But you know,
I asked AI about
some meme.
Commercial entities cannot put stuff on the moon.
On the moon? I don't know. We'll see.
Yet. McDonald's.
Yeah. The McSpace burger. I don't know. Anyway, so I was just going to real quick before we jump in with our guest. There's kind of continuing stories that I've been telling for the last couple of shows. You know, the lady, the people that live next door. He moved his mom in, and she has memory loss or whatever. Like it's like onset Alzheimer's or whatever. Alzheimer's, however you say it, Alzheimer's. And anyway, so we've had a couple things, and I've told you all about that or whatever. But yesterday, she's an older lady. She was home by herself, I think, and she's supposed to have a health home care person with her, and for whatever reason, it didn't work out. My wife had just come home, and she's outside, and she's talking to Cody or whatever, and of course, Cody's like, you know, hey, let's get you back in the house, you know, whatever. And here comes their dogs, all their dogs. They have 4 basset hounds. They're humongous. And then they have another little dog. And it was really sad because she was obviously upset about it and whatever, but the basset hounds take off in a herd.
So she let the dogs out again.
She again let the dogs out. Good God. So she lets the dogs out.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. And it's funny though, because it's this herd of basset hounds, and these suckers can move faster than what you think, man.
You think, right.
Right. So as soon as I get home, which is not too much longer after Cody gets home, she's like telling me what's going on. And I'm like, well, I'll jump on one of the electric scooters and just take off around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
She's like, they went that way. I searched the whole neighborhood, search, nothing. These suckers somehow or another went around both blocks and then out the other end close to the lake and went all the way to Main Street, like within just a little bit of time. And we're all like, how the hell did these dogs get there?
Wow.
Long story short, we let our neighbors know what was going on, and they hurried home and they got them and everything. Well, so the mom, she doesn't remember anything. Like she very remembers anything. She don't know our name. She don't know nothing. Today, I get home from work, doorbell rings. It's her. And she's got cupcakes, and she thanks us for yesterday, and she remembered. Yeah. And so her daughter-in-law's with her, and she's like, we don't get it.
Oh, and they didn't even tell her or prompt her. They're just like,
no. That she wanted to go get. There's a really cool cupcake place here around the corner from our house. She wanted to go get cupcakes to thank Cody and I for doing that, for helping her, and she doesn't remember anything. Like she never. And they're like, we don't know why she remembered either. And I was
bless
like,
her heart.
all right, so that was really. It was a really cool little moment, because the poor lady doesn't know what's going on half the time, or more than half the time, I should say. And she remembered us helping her out, so it was kind of nice.
Yeah. Well, and I'm gonna have to question the neighbors after what's been happening. Why aren't they safing the doors? And
so they have this thing on their door where she's not supposed to be able to get out, and that sounds horrible.
No, but it's like there's multiple steps,
a safety thing.
or a thing.
Yeah.
It's not a normal lock. It's like up high or low or
right. So, however or another, she did get out. Well, when she went out and the dogs came out, when the door closed, it locked behind her. She was unable to get back in. So that's when Cody calls. His name's Sam. He won't mind that I say his name. And Sam is like, "Hey, this is what's going on." And he gives her the code to get her back in the house and stuff or whatever. But then it's like the dogs. But the dogs get out quite a bit,
and they're probably waiting right there. They're like, "Okay, you're gonna let us out? All right."
Yeah, I'm sure. They're like, this lady don't know anything. She's going to let us out again for the 20th time in the last 2 months. Let's do this.
I could see them lining up. Ready
it's funny as hell to watch a bunch of basset hounds in a herd run down the street. It's freaking hilarious. They're all.
I think of Janae when I hear the hounds.
Oh, Janae, right? Yeah, with what was that dog's name? I forgot what her dog's name was. Oh, the one she has now. She has several now too. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Shout out,
Janae. What's going on? All right, so let's do this. John, no. She just what I just talked to her the other day for some reason. I can't remember what it was for.
I can't remember. Crockett text.
I know why I talked to Janae, because I invited them to go to Candlebox and
that's coming up.
If they end up coming out. But anyway, let's get into it. So episode 147, another guest on, president of the Cultural Activity Center Board in Temple, Texas, Rob Marshall. What's going on, Rob? How you doing?
Howdy. Doing well. How are you guys?
Good, man. Did you like all our goofiness there for the first 10 minutes of this?
I celebrate it fully and welcome it. So
yeah, right.
Awesome.
So we'll just premise it on this. So Rob is also from Temple, and that's right. Are you from Temple? Like originally from Temple?
Yeah, way back. Yeah, we our family farm in Heidenhammer Academy area goes back to like the 1830s. So yeah, we've been around.
Okay. Yeah. Right on. All right. See, so my family's farm is Zopsicville area, and my grandfather and his siblings and stuff, they were all born there, whatever. So back then too. So that's pretty crazy. Anyway, so what year did you graduate from T-High?
97.
97. Okay, so I thought you were quite a bit younger than me. So you're about 3 years younger. What? You're 46?
Just
47?
47. Yeah.
47. Okay. All right. So you're old for your age. Me too. I just turned 50. God dang, I'm going to be 51 in September.
I'm 49.
Yeah. Josh he's creeping up on that. He's a 95er and I'm a 94. But so here's how it kind of came about is I'd been slowly I've got lists of people that we want to come on, or people that in a certain area or that want to come on. And somebody had came to me and said, "Hey, you should have this person on. They're with the Cultural Activity Center, the CAC, as we know it's our whole lives." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'm going to do that." And I put it on the back burner, and I finally went back, and then I looked up, and your name was there at the top as the president. I was like, "Okay, I know who that guy is. This will make it a lot easier for us. Let's get Rob on the show." So I reached out to you, and you were so nice to say to come on. So thank you very much for taking the time and come on with us. But let's start kind of at the beginning, though. Let's talk about your background. So you're originally from Temple and, all that good stuff.
Yep. born and raised in Temple. Graduated high school again, 97. Went out to college and came back early to, I guess, mid 2005, 2004, 5, something like that. And I've worked in commercial real estate, and I'm kind of entrepreneurial. I do a lot of different things, some commercial real estate brokerage, some consulting, and then lots of odd projects entrepreneurially that I
Right on.
do and get weird with.
Those are fun, man. Those are the fun ones, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Can we ask what college?
That's what I was going to ask.
Okay, so started started out at Texas Tech for 2 years, and then had to reboot and graduated from St. Ed's in Austin.
Hey,
All
that's
right.
my brother and sister graduated from.
Yep, I played football at Temple, and initially wanted to walk on and play in college, but opted to have fun instead.
Yeah. Hey, Texas place to go to for that.
Yeah. Texas. I gave it the thumbs down because I'm an Aggie. But anyway, so what position did you play?
At Temple, I was on the offensive line. I was a small lineman at Temple. So yeah, kind of a pulling guard.
All right.
Awesome. The Temple football mystique from early to mid 90s was pretty incredible. So
yeah. Believe me, I was a junior when we won state. Josh would have been sophomore, and I was in the band, so I was band nerd all into it, man. I was already into football because my dad refereed football for 54 years. Okay, so I was already in my blood. But when I was in high school and in the stands every single game, it's hard not to be a huge high school when your freaking high school is just killing it, and I knew all those guys. I grew up with all those guys. I sat next to all of them in class. I mean, and it was so cool because I knew them all, and it was cool because I knew them all. Like even in the the halls and stuff, they're like, "Hey, what's up?" And they didn't do that with everybody. You know what I mean? So it was really cool. Adrian Woodson was probably the only one I wasn't really good friends with, but he was very quiet. But I was good friends with not good friends, but friends with his sister, and she was crazy. So crazy in a good way. Anyway, sorry about we got on that tangent, but what's your take on Bob McQueen since you got to play for him?
One of the most incredible individuals, leaders, human beings I've ever known in my life, and frequently, refer to him as like an alt father figure to me and many, many others. Like just an incredible soul.
Awesome.
Yeah. He came on the show. It was so much fun. He was having a blast because he had no idea what was happening. Not because he just didn't get the concept of podcast. You know what I mean? But it was so much fun to talk to him, and he's known my dad my whole life. So he knew who I was, but we didn't know each other really. And now we've got this little friendship, and we text from time to time. And I just actually texted him last week to see how he's doing, and he's doing all right. He's got some health problems he's dealing with, but he's doing all right. Still by himself, living by himself, and I think he's just now gotten to where he's maybe not driving so much. But Amanda is taking him here and there from time to time. But coaches, he lets me call him coach, even though he never coached me. I said, do I call you Bob or do I call you coach? And he goes, you call me coach.
All right.
So,
yeah.
His voice still has like a Pavlovian effect on me.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
He'll talk.
He speaks, you listen.
Oh, I go to red alert, man. I'm like, where are we going? Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here? So he's incredible.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, it's okay. We're on tangents. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So it's really cool too. Is anytime you're around him or he comes into a room or whatever, I mean, he's so good at getting the spotlight without wanting it. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like when he walks in somewhere, a restaurant or whatever, and you're around him, it's like everything stops, and he is just the nicest person to everybody. He has no ego at all, and which is just so cool about that guy, because he could have the ego of all egos, and he doesn't. And when I was talking to him not too long ago about being in the Texas Football Hall of Fame, he I'm not someone who talks to coach very often or whatever, and you could hear it in his voice, just cracking about how honored he is to be a part of that.
Just humble. Yeah.
There's no question that man should be in there, and he knows that, but he's still so, humble about it. But Anyway,
Yeah.
I didn't mean for this to become the Bob
Bless
McQueen
him.
show, but
He's awesome.
yeah, he is. But I always try to ask people that played for him, their take on it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's pretty much the same answer every time. I mean, he's just an amazing human being. I want to tell a real quick story too. So
Let's hear it.
here's another. So Rob and I, we never knew each other, and I kind of told him this when we talked a few weeks ago. All right, Mom and Dad, you're about to hear it. So we had this huge party at my house one time, just one time, Mom, and it got to be where it was way too many people, and I was actually starting to turn people away, and people were kind of getting mad about that or whatnot. And I'll use this guy's name because he's in jail anyway. Andy Nash was with us, and that's another episode we'll do. It's all over the internet, so it's not like I'm telling something
Google
that ain't
it.
out there. But Andy Nash was a very good friend of ours. He was a very good friend of mine for a very long time. And someone was at the door. There's 3 or 4 guys standing out there. I'm looking out there going, I don't know who the hell those guys are. And this is probably my freshman year in college, maybe my senior year summer, after senior year or whatever. And I finally go outside, and it's some guys I didn't know and Rob. And so then I come back in, and I'm like, who are those guys? And somebody told me who they were. And I was like, man, I'll go back. I was like, look, I can't have any more people in here. I don't even know you, blah, blah, blah. And whoever was with Rob was like, this is bullshit, man. Blah, blah. I'm like, no. So I was like, you know what, man? And I went and I was like, Andy's a big dude, right? And so I just go get Andy, and Andy's like, all right. And he goes out there, and I can just remember both of them because y'all were probably like freshmen in high school or something.
Probably.
And then looking up at Andy, and they were like, all right, we'll go, man. we'll get on out of here. And I told that story to Rob, and Rob's like, I really don't remember. And it's like, I only remember because it was my party, and I was like, when you have a party and it gets out of hand, and you're like, okay, why did I even do this? Let's shut this sucker down, but you can't shut it down because you can piss all your friends off. So I just remember it pretty well. And that was actually the party where actually Brad Jez, shout out Brad Jez, and Chris Rowland, we always talk about how every single person that was at that party that night was messed up and just throwing up all out that backyard and everything. And every time I speak to either one of them, we always talk about that party. But
maybe
go, Mom and Dad.
Maybe it's better that I didn't get in then if it was
yeah.
the Rager.
There was. Go ahead.
And for the record, Mrs. Winnett, I've never been to a party at your house.
That Josh wasn't there.
I've never been to a Heath Winnett party at your house.
Well, the funny part too is Tim Thornton, who's been on the show. He was drinking Kool-Aid and vodka for whatever reason, and it was so gross. And he got sick out front. We made him leave. He was being so belligerent, and I mean, this is one of my best friends. And we make him leave. So he's just sitting in his car in my driveway and just throwing up every once in a while out the door of his car. And that Kool-Aid stain was there for years.
On the concrete?
On the concrete.
Oh, my
from him
gosh.
throwing up vodka and Kool-Aid.
Yikes.
You thought this was going to be all about the CAC, didn't you, Rob?
Yeah.
That's all right. No,
He's like, I'm trying to paint this in a positive light here. And
But now we're all grown up and we don't do that anymore, right?
we don't.
that's the lesson
we don't.
we're trying to teach here.
And I want to be on record. I don't remember that moment with Andy at the party, but it seems so plausible that I cannot deny it. So I just like not.
And like I knew who you were, how you just know who people are because you're in a small town, but you just don't hang out with them, And I don't know who you were with, but he was being a dick, and I was just like, dude, we're not going to let you in. Just deal with it and go find somewhere else.
How do you know it was Rob? Like,
I remember it.
Rob. This is like Lunar Landing. It could have been.
Yeah, but you know how I am. People say it all the time. They're like, "How do you remember all this?"
You do have a good memory,
and I can remember, and I associate things with like music or some sort of situation, and that was the one that I associate with him because it was the only time I ever almost hung out with Rob.
All right.
Well, let's get into it.
Yeah, he didn't even go to the party anyway, so. He was turned away, so no harm. No harm.
Ended up at like Lions Park or some crap. Haha.
Right.
Yeah. Sure.
But anyway, let's get okay. So I wanted to tell my Rob story. There it is. Yeah, moving on. Here we go. So how so you were talking about how you're doing realtor stuff and all that good stuff. So how did you work yourself into being involved with the CAC, the Cultural Activities Center?
So, on the board now, I was simply asked a couple of years ago to be on the board. It the organization, of course, it's been around for a really long time.
Yeah, we were kids.
Yeah, I mean, my great grandmother actually helped kind of co-found or pull the thing together back in
Oh, really?
the 50s. Yeah, Azalee
Wow.
Marshall. That would have been my grandfather's mother. So our family, generationally has been involved with the CAC.
Oh, right on.
In terms of just, serving it with volunteerism and leadership and helping to raise money. And so, yeah, I got involved on the board, got asked to be on the board a couple of years ago. Felt like the timing was, reasonably good for us. And, when I was a kid, I went to summer camp at the CAC, spent a lot of time there growing up. When I was in high school, I went through the Wildflower Ball, which is actually the Wildflower Guild is part of the CAC as well. And I've had 2 kids actually go through the ball over the past 3 years. So
Wow.
It's a incredible organization that's important to the community. And it's been fun to, I don't know, try to envision what the CAC will look like 10, 20 years from now in an environment where Temple in Central Texas continues to grow. And it's obviously very different than it was in the 50s or 60s and the 90s for that matter. And then it's a really cool combination of, visual and performing arts. I'm a music guy. I love music. We actually had Corey Morrow play there in the auditorium last Saturday.
Cool.
Bob Schneider a month or so ago. Yeah. And so the music series has been really, really cool. And it's, it's funny because I spent some time obviously in Lubbock in college, spent some time in Austin, and there are a lot of great music venues in both those places. But the auditorium at the CAC is a really cool spot to engage with an entertainer, engage with a musician. You get a really cool kind of intimate personal performance. So it's been fun. We're having a lot of fun with the organization for sure.
So nice. someone just asked you, hey, you want to be the president of this thing? Or how did that work?
No, yeah, it started with, would you like to just serve on the board? And then I'd been on the board, I think, for a year, and they said, hey, we'd like to nominate you. So it's all voted on. There's committees and boards. So right. A year just as a normal board member at large, and then was nominated to serve as president. So, it's been cool. It's been fun. Lots of great people. It's a fun time to be involved with the CAC because, I think really, I kind of view my role as, it's funny, and I've shared this with our executive director, Annette Farmer, who's terrific, and there's so many great staff members, and we have a great board. There are moments where I can, how do I say this? I have almost these flashbacks to being dropped off on the curb for summer camp, and my grandmother would leave me a French Quarter burger and tater tots.
Nice.
And so it's funny because I look at it now as a 47-year-old, and I look at all the growth in the area, and I look at the role that music and art is playing in society today. And it's cool to just think about how can we make this a really awesome thing over the next 5, 10, 20 years, right? Where the organization continues to grow, continues to mature, and, serves, a really cool role in the community in terms of how people engage with the arts. So again, I've seen some cool shows there over the years. I love singer-songwriters. James McMurtry played years ago, and I'm a big McMurtry fan. So it's just a neat spot. It's a neat spot to go chill out. For the music series anyway, you can, they have drinks and beer and wine in the lobby.
Really?
So you can go grab a beer and you sit in a comfortable seat. And
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. You get these artists who it's not, it was Unplugged, MTV in the 90s. They had the stage. It's not that, but it's a step closer to that than seeing a show at an outdoor venue.
Yeah. It's more intimate.
It's more intimate. Yeah. I mean, these guys talk and interact, and it's
we
cool.
like to sit down too. There's plenty of seating.
At our age, we like the sitting part.
Yeah, great AC. Great,
right.
Cushion seating.
Parking's close. Walk right in.
That's right.
Have you guys had Grant Shed yet? Because that would be a great one to do. If you know Grant Shed?
Yes, sort of. But yeah, That I hadn't thought about that. That's a good thought.
Grant Shed would be perfect for that. Shout out Grant. But yeah, no, he's a good kid too. We had him on the show. He is such a sweet kid, and he is super duper good at what he does. And his parents, I know them, and I'm sure you probably do too. If you don't, and I'm sure they would be so happy for. I mean, I think that would bring a lot of people in, and that would be something really cool and that would help with some of the younger, because I don't know if y'all get a lot of younger people coming into those shows. Probably not ish. I don't know.
We're trying. I mean, that's one of the goals, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely a very diverse crowd when you go, because there's
Okay.
the music series, there's folks who have season tickets, and then you can buy one-off tickets as well. So, I mean, yeah, I think Saturday, I mean, I met kids as young as, say, 15, 16 who were there with their parents. And then, there's plenty of, senior folks there and middle-aged folks. So it's cool.
Right on. Okay.
Awesome.
That's cool. It's funny you're talking about the going to the summer camps. I can remember going to the art summer camps there.
Yep.
And then the other thing that was actually a big thing for me is when I went to Meredith Elementary, and they did, all
Field
the
trips.
plays. Yeah. Where did you go to elementary school, Rob?
So I actually did elementary school in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Weird kind of like, side quest in my life. But
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
born in Temple. Parents moved us to Dallas. They got divorced, and then we moved back to Temple. I started 6th grade at Lamar.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay. But yeah, so whenever I was there, Paul Blackstock, who I would like to have on the show, but it's coming later. He did all of those productions of Peter Pan and HMS Pinafore and Tom Sawyer and it was so much fun because we were kids. I mean, we were kids. We were 4th and 5th grade kids, and they were big productions. And my mom has them on tape to this day, and it's just I go back and watch them, and I'm like, man, that was really neat for these young kids to do these really
get up on a
huge
stage.
production.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like I moved into the school as a 4th grader, so I didn't have good friendships yet, where a lot of them started at 3rd grade, and that's a different story. But so I didn't have those good friendships yet, so I think I probably would have did the acting stuff if I'd maybe would a little bit earlier. But I don't know if y'all remember David Terry. He and I were very and Stephen King. Everybody, he does so much with the CAC now and whatnot. And we did a lot of like the backstage stuff on those, and it was so much fun. But anyway, that was my side story. Go. So yeah, Stephen King's very active in the CAC, right?
Stephen, his art career, I'm so impressed by him. He's a great friend. Love Stephen and his whole family. He is just absolutely taken off, and such a creative guy, such a sweet soul. And yeah, I think he's exhibited. I don't know exactly how many times he's been at the CAC in one of the galleries, but I think a couple at least. But yeah, I mean, certainly a known talent artistically in the community at this point.
Yeah.
So
he's a good dude. We love SK. That's what I call him. SK.
Yeah.
He's a good dude, and Whitney is an amazing. Looking to escape the ordinary and explore the extraordinary? Meet Jani Kovacevic, your personal luxury travel expert. Whether you're craving an epic expedition to the Arctic, a sun-soaked all-inclusive getaway, or a once-in-a-lifetime trip with the whole family, Jani curates every detail for a seamless, unforgettable experience.
From bucket list adventures to multi-generational family vacations, she tailors travel to your pace, your passions, and your people, with luxury every step of the way.
Don't just travel, explore in style, discover with ease, and make memories that last forever.
Call 254-721-2000 or visit travelbyjani.com and start planning your dream escape today.
So, in your opinion, what makes the CAC, compared to other art organizations, unique?
Gosh, that's a good question.
That's a hard one.
No, I don't think it's hard. I think it requires just a thoughtful answer. When you think about Temple, particularly if you're not from Temple, well, whether you're from Temple or not from Temple, you probably don't go to art immediately as an association.
Right.
I think the CAC has a really unique role and maybe a bigger opportunity here, and is such a, I don't know, I don't want to, sleeping giant's not the right thing, but I think there's maybe some unlock that could take place here. Um, it's a very unique combination of visual and performing arts. So you get gallery experience, you get the live performances, which are diverse in nature. You've got member groups such as Wildflower Guild, right, who handles Cotillion and the Wildflower Ball. And then you've got a really rich, deep history, right? So there's a lot of character with the organization. There's a facility that's really unique and architecturally kind of interesting. So I don't know. I mean, I think the whole arts play, like you can go to Dallas or Austin or New York, any major metropolitan area, and have these really sophisticated, refined gallery experiences. And the Rolling Stones don't stop at the CAC to play, but relatively speaking, I'd say it's about as engaging and diverse of an organization as you could have here that serves the arts. And then I also think when you look at, we had this conversation at a board meeting or committee meeting a few weeks ago. When you think about, we with the summer art camps, we pick up kids very early in life. Our programs with the school districts, Temple and Belton ISD, and then we've got folks who are retired who engage with the organization, on a monthly kind of routine basis, be it in their volunteerism or performance. So we've got like this full visual performing arts experience that's kind of full human life cycle from, very early age, elementary school age kids, doing art camps and classes to, retirees who are, engaged in some of the classes or coming to shows. So it's diverse that way. And I mean, we've.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you've mentioned the camps, but I've taken a class there, an art class for encaustic wax painting, and I know they've got ceramics classes also. So there's other opportunities there. So that's cool, and it's all like right here in our backyard. It's like if we just tune in and pay attention, it's like you don't have to drive an hour or more to have that art or music experience. Is right here.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of what we're doing now is really thinking about our programming and asking questions. I believe in sort of listening to the community, right? So, unlike business is one thing, right? People start businesses, they, drive ahead with their thing or whatever. A nonprofit's a little different because you really have to listen to what the community needs. And I mean, I bring this kind of like idealistic theoretical stuff up from time to time where, the way we all experience music or visual art today is so different than even 30 years ago.
Sure.
And drastically different from 50, 60 years ago, right? So I think one of the unique challenges we have is continuing to think creatively about how we stay really engaged with the community and promote and deliver that experience. Because art is beautiful. It's emotional, whether it's an artist who's exhibiting paintings in one of the galleries or, Corey Morrow telling some personal story, between songs like he did last Saturday. Right. It's cool. And, it's in some ways, like I still talk to people. Of course, we all grew up in Temple. There's a lot of folks here who didn't grow up here. And
right.
There's a lot of folks who don't know about the organization. People that I run around with and interact with, our kids maybe go to school together or something. So in some ways, it's one of the better kept secrets of the area for some folks. And in other ways, it's, this kind of organization with deep roots here that some people maybe need to rediscover if they've gotten away from it or, I don't know. There's a lot of folks really passionate about it, which is incredible. It's great. So.
What is y'all's plan to get it out there more? I mean, is there someone that's like managing the social media part? Because let's face it, that's how people get most of their information now. I mean, are you guys doing that?
Yeah, we are. It's part of a broader kind of strategic plan that we've been kind of working on now. Is we're competing. Of course, all of us are so distracted all the time now, right? So talking about like how we all experience music or visual art, we all hold the little black mirror up and stare at it all day. We're in the most connected era that we've ever been in, which in some ways is amazing, and in other ways is absolutely awful because we're all distracted and anxious.
Agreed.
So, we're fighting for bandwidth, right? I mean, we trade on attention. We trade for
2 seconds, right? It's like,
yeah.
if you don't get my attention in 2 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of compete for, date night bandwidth in some ways. Like go to dinner and come see a show. Come see Bob Schneider. Come see Roy Morrow. We've got Ray Wiley Hubbard playing in October. Kelly Willis is coming, and we've got one more big show that we haven't announced yet that we're still working on. But like, it's I think that's part of the challenge. That's part of my role on the board and the rest of the directors and staff is to go, how do we really become a more prominent option on the list of date night options? Or, what do we do with these kids who are on the video games too much? Or we want to be on the list of options.
Just engage the community. Yeah.
I mean, to me, what I'm hearing is there's a partnership with randomness and Heath and Josh coming into play at some point. I'm totally joking.
Let's do it.
But hey, you know what? I don't put it past us. But you kind of answered a bunch of stuff that I was going to ask. But does the CAC, for lack of better words, do they play it safe? And when I say that playing safe, like to me, it always feels like it's a refined place to go. It's a no jokes type of place. But have you ever thought about bringing comedy in? Because that is starting to build in Central Texas right now because of a few people. Jeremiah Red for one. There's a couple other guys. Is that something y'all have thought about?
I'm going to be honest with you. We haven't. I love the idea because I mean, comedy is arguably in its golden era. I mean, now I'm a staunch, like you all, I'm sure, were kind of raised on 80s era, Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All such a, I mean, that's such a wonderful vintage of comedy.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, the artists, the talent that's out there now, and even, the Netflix is a joke thing with all the content they're producing around these incredibly talented comedians. It's a wonderful idea that we need to talk about. So.
It's there. And, those guys are looking for places that are bigger venues. Yeah. And it's there. So let me know if you need the hook up there. Because I know, and I said that too. It's like, is that the right thing to say? It's kind of straight laced as far as CAC goes.
You don't want to ruffle too many feathers, I guess.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, is that something that's actually a thing, or am I just reading into that wrong?
Well, I think it's I don't want to. Gosh, I'm trying to think of a I guess a concise and maybe diplomatic way to answer that.
Right, it's hard. I get it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's certainly not a rough and tumble place, but I don't know that what I don't want the organization to do is be viewed from a brand standpoint as this refined thing that's maybe exclusionary in nature, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I think some of the artists that we have coming, like, I mean, Ray Wiley Hubbard is not refined.
Yeah, well, that's kind of why I asked that, because when you said that, I was like, I know who that is, and that's not exactly so straight laced, but as far as my conception of the place, it's that way. So that's what made me think of that. And then just kind of building on what we're talking about now, it's like, why not start with maybe bringing a Christian comic, or a clean comic, and just see how things work. And to be honest with you, I've been to a ton of stand-up comic shows, and I mean and I've never ever seen one where things got unruly. Now, do some comics you don't want to come in there because things can get unruly? Obviously, don't pick Jim Jeffries to come to the CAC. Yeah. There's people like that. But I mean, I'm just thinking outside of the box here. I'm like, that's technically an art, right? And that's what we're trying to,
you can vet them and screen them for, be a little more conservative. So
So anyway, that's my little soapbox with that. I hope y'all do something with that, because I think that would be really cool.
I love it. I may pull you guys into a committee or something, and we'll figure that out together.
Hey man,
Sure,
believe me, I would do, and I'm all about MCing stuff and introducing things and doing stuff like that. So hey, put me on that list, dude.
Yeah.
What? How do you keep the board motivated and aligned with like doing everything? Because that's not your job, right? Like this is something that you're doing on your spare time.
Yeah.
Do you have trouble keeping people on the board?
No, I mean, I think that there are people. It's interesting. I think about kind of like historically, like I'm on 4 total boards right now, and I've been on other boards historically.
Oh my goodness.
It's and I love it because it gives me kind of plugins to different things that are happening in the community. I'll tell you, I think one of the more powerful things of it all are some of the relationships and friendships I've made just from other people. And a nonprofit, really, we have to raise money to stay afloat. We survive on donations, memberships, grants, that kind of thing. And we're going to have board members, like any organization, that are super engaged, super passionate. And then we're going to have some who really want to, but life gets in the way. So, yeah, I think we're trying to be better about we have a wonderful board now. And I think we're trying to be better about making sure that the folks who come on are truly committed. But yeah, it's all volunteer. So my role is volunteer. The rest of the board is volunteer. The staff, it's a job for them. I mean, they get paid and are compensated. Right. But yeah, the board's all volunteer role.
If somebody wants to like help out with the CAC, maybe can they just come in and help out, or can they give money? I mean, what all can someone do to help out with the CAC?
Yeah, I mean, you can walk in with a giant check. That's one option.
Yeah.
I know we take credit cards and personal check is fine.
Sure.
Of course, we very much appreciate the financial contributions that our members make, and our member groups kind of work to help support. But yeah, we live on volunteerism. So you've got the CAC, and then you've got a couple of member groups that include like the Wildflower Guild, which kind of, we're talking about Whitney and Stephen King. Whitney chaired or was the vice chair of the Wildflower Ball this year, which was first weekend in March. That's their own. They almost have their own hive of volunteers, and the Contemporaries is a member group that solely exists to raise money and support the CAC through volunteerism and financial support. And that's an incredible group of people and souls who spend. So yeah, you can literally walk in and go, hey, this is a cool place. I want to help. What are the roles? And honestly, we do a lot. That's something else we talk about as an organization. When the spectrum is Corey Morrow and cotillion, junior cotillion, right? I mean, or a pottery class or ceramics class or whatever. Right. It is, pretty broad spectrum. So I think one of the things that we try and do is wherever someone has passion, right, we try and align them within the organization with whatever that might be. And like my wife chaired the Wildflower Ball a couple of years ago, and those volunteers really, really are passionate about that thing. I mean, that's again, it's almost it's got some I don't want to say life its own, but I mean, it truly has a bunch of really passionate people.
Yeah.
Alternatively, there's folks who are plenty passionate about ceramics. So full spectrum.
Yeah.
It's funny. I went to the Wildflower Bells back in the day, and I can remember taking the dance classes there at the CAC. Like, a few weeks before, they're like, okay, now you got to know how to at least do a couple of these dances. All right. And going there and doing that.
Can you still waltz?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have to say, I don't toot my horn very often. I actually am a pretty decent dancer for a white fella. I do all right.
There you go.
But I actually enjoy dancing too, and I should do it more often. And my wife's going to hear this now, and now we're going to have to go dancing. If what's something that you can maybe share with us that's coming up that's without giving something away? Is there anything?
Well, I mean, most of the stuff we try and do a good job just on our website of publishing the upcoming shows and promoting them. Our Texas music series, and I'm probably more. Well, I'm not probably more. I mean, I've never been engaged in ceramics. I don't want to speak negatively about ceramics at all. I've just never engaged with it. So I get passionate about music and can testify to the experience of seeing a live show in the auditorium at the CAC and just how cool it is and how different it is than seeing someone at Schuff's or Johnny's or any of the other venues here.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I was rambling and forgot the question. What did you
I was just, if there was something you guys have planned coming up that you can tell us about, or something you're excited about that's maybe in the works, something along that line.
Yeah, we're working on kind of I don't want to call it a headliner show, but there is going to be one show that we're tentatively kind of planning for the fall. That is kind of a, no disrespect to Corey Morrow or Kelly Willis or Bob Schneider, but it'll be maybe a little bit loftier kind of band.
Sure.
We haven't finalized it yet. And in part, we want to be sensitive to the timing of Tanglefoot Festival, if the city does that again.
Yeah.
And we want to navigate. It's tricky because, like, you think about these events and different productions that come up, and you've got, well, in our age range, I don't know how old, if you guys have kids or how old they are, but I mean, I'm constantly navigating practices and stuff like that.
Yeah, when's graduation dates and schools, the start of school and holidays.
Yep.
Band.
Yeah, so everything that's out there now is out there.
Bangtober.
Yeah. Everything that's out there now, or we have, official and on the books, we promote, and that's all, on the calendar and public. But there will be some stuff cool that we anticipate announcing here in the next, 60, 90 days as some of that fall calendar comes together.
Right on. Okay. Man, I didn't know that we could talk about the CAC this long. This has been really cool, because my head is, as a kid, was all I knew was what I knew as a kid, and now I'm knowing, finding all these other things out that I really didn't think about so much, because when you're a kid, you don't think about that. Even when I was in high school, it's like, yeah, whatever, Yeah. But now you're bringing all these things up, and I'm like, man, this is really an awesome place that people are missing out on. Why aren't they going there more often? And why aren't more happening there? Or hopefully more will start happening there. I really hope the comedy thing works out, because that'd be really cool.
I love it.
Yeah, man, I think that would be really cool, because it is, it's a more intimate. They do little shows here and there, or whatever, but that's kind of it's on a bigger stage, but it's made for that. The acoustics are made for it, all that stuff. It'd be a really cool place to do it. So anyway, I'll jump off the box there. But real quick, if we want to find out everything, the Cultural Activity Center in Temple, where do we go?
cacarts.org.
Fair enough. That was quick and simple.
Yeah. We just revamped. We actually just rebranded a couple of years, or a year or two ago. We went through a full rebrand, built an entirely new website that's got, more dynamic kind of content experience. And we're actually working. I mean, one of our board, this is something I've raised as kind of an agenda item that I want to think through, is having a more dynamic and engaging kind of ticketing and booking engine that you can go interact with and explore. And so, yeah, there's lots of cool stuff coming. I mean, the place, I feel like the past several years, not to speak more theoretically about just society in general, but like COVID kind of like shocked everything. And
Yeah.
Post-COVID, the CAC was not insulated from kind of going, okay, what's the world look like now, and who do we need to be, right? So we've tried to be really intentional about asking those questions and answering those questions, and building a more dynamic experience that the community can engage with. That's it. And I think this community needs to know about the really cool experiences that are there and what's coming up, so they can, be a part of it and come see a cool show. And Corey Morrow is really a unique example. When I was at Texas Tech, I listened to Corey Morrow. I bought his, I had one of those 4-inch thick CD books that weighed
the wallets,
75 pounds, where you're driving with one knee.
Yeah.
I've got one right over here with 500 CDs in it.
Dude, going between Sublime and Corey Morrow and whatever else. But I really had kind of disconnected from him, as I'd gotten older and kind of just
right.
It wasn't a conscious divorce I'd made from his music, but it was kind of like, oh yeah, Corey Morrow's great. I remember, two-stepping to him in Lubbock or whatever. But dude, like, we got like one song into that show, and I was like, oh man, this guy's bringing the energy, and this is really cool.
All right.
This is my kind of personal testimony to, like, sure, I wanted to go see Corey Morrow. It was a fun experience last Saturday. I didn't have anything going on, but I got there and I was like, this is way cooler than I honestly kind of anticipated. And I have felt that way about every show I've seen there. And it's because none of us really experience live music in that type of environment.
Yeah.
Comfortable.
Yeah. You don't have to drive an hour or 30 minutes even to have that.
Well, and like Shuffs and Johnny's are great venues too, right? Any of the outdoor venues here locally are great venues, but an auditorium experience is a little different. You know, you get you connect with the artist a little bit. It's much more kind of personal and intimate. So I don't know, it's fun.
Yeah. It seems to me like when I go to a show like that maybe I'm kind of like, I'll go, and then you go, and it's the more intimate or whatever. You're like, hey, you know what? I came in here maybe not thinking I was going to like this, but this is pretty awesome. Yeah. Because you're getting it right in front of you. And just an example is up here where I'm living near Denton, UNT is one of the best music schools in the country. And we went to a jazz concert one time on a whim for something, and it blew us away. And I'm like, why are we not doing this more often? You know? And it's the same type of thing. When you were talking about that, that's what I'm thinking about. It's like if people would go that one time to check it out when they like, I don't want to go, and they just do it, it'll change everything for them. Because it's being there and experiencing it is not like when you go to a big concert or outdoor, like you said. It's totally different.
Yeah, it was interesting. I've got a 19-year-old son who's a freshman at Texas Tech, and during the show, he likes to play guitar. He likes to write music. And during the show, I'd take little clips, little videos from the show and text them to him as I'm sitting there. And, he's a freshman at Texas Tech having all sorts of fun, without a doubt. Sure. He's like, damn, I wish I was there. Like, I'd like to be there. And that's a unique thing because when I was 19, I had zero desire to be at the CAC.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah. But it's so different too, and I don't want to go on another tangent before we let you go. But it is they experience things so different now as kids, and they can have everything right then and there in their palm of their hand or whatever, And then he's seeing you do it. And he's like, I'm not. The palm of the hand ain't working right now. He's right there in front of it, man. That's so cool. Much different, but that's really cool. But anyway, Rob, thank you for hanging out with us, man. We really appreciate you coming on. You guys. Go check out the CAC. You heard all these things. You're like, what? Yeah, this is all going on in your town. And if you're not from Temple and you're outside in Central Texas area, because we have all these listeners in the area, don't forget about Temple and the CAC. Come on in. You can go online, check it out, see what they got. And apparently there's some big stuff coming in the fall. So get ready for that. Go check that out.
Get your ears on the rail. Yep.
Yeah. And don't forget to come next when you see Josh next time, see if he's got his hat with his feather on.
We'll talk about that.
But again, Rob, thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, as always, go to randomspodcast.com. Go check it out. Everything should be up to date right now. And, I want to stress YouTube channel is up. We're starting to get a little bit more traction on it. I understand that y'all are used to listening to us, just audio, but we're trying to
look at us.
Now you can look at our dumbasses while we talk. So go check that. I'll speak for myself. Maybe I'm the dumbass. Well, Josh is looking like a dumbass. But anyway, go check it out. It's at Randomness with Heath and Josh on the YouTube channel. You can search it, but obviously just go to our website. There's a link right there. Go check it out. And I think that's it. Go buy some shirts. Thank y'all so much. We'll catch you next time.
Thank y'all.
We're gone.